My neighbor started leaving her packages on my porch. For security. I didn't mind, until we found out she'd been ordering items under our name. When the credit card bills hit, we were $6,300 in debt. She claimed it was a mistake. But then I found a post on her Facebook, manifesting a life you didn't have to work for, and a photo of her wearing my wife's missing shoes. I live in Dayton, Ohio. It's not a big fancy town. It's working class, people mostly mind their own business. We bought our little house 4 years ago, after years of saving. It's nothing special to anyone else, but to us, it's everything. My wife, Katie, and I work hard. She teaches 2nd grade, and I work for an HVAC company. We're not rich, but we're careful. We don't waste money. We're the type of people who still pack lunches for work, who turn the lights off every time we leave a room. About 3 months ago, the house next door got a new tenant, a woman named Brianna. She said she was a single mom starting over. She was all smiles at first. Waved every time we saw her. Talked about how excited she was to live somewhere safe for her kids. We wanted to be good neighbors. Brought her brownies the first week she moved in. She thanked us, told us we were the nicest people she'd ever met. Looking back, it makes me sick. 2 weeks after she moved in, she came over one evening while I was out front pulling weeds. She asked if she could have her packages delivered to our porch. Said her kids kept opening her packages without asking, and things were going missing from her steps. She pointed to how exposed her porch was, no overhang, no bushes. Ours had a little privacy from the street. Katie and I talked about it and figured, sure, why not? We didn't want her losing her stuff. We were home most of the time anyway. It felt like the neighborly thing to do. At first, it was no big deal. A package or 2 a week. Small stuff. She'd knock and pick it up fast. Sometimes she'd even bring us coffees as a thank you. She'd chat for a minute, complain about how hard it was being a single mom, say how much she appreciated having good neighbors. It felt harmless. Until it didn't. The number of deliveries picked up. First it was once a day. Then 2-3 times. Big boxes. Heavy ones. Furniture-sized ones. Delivery trucks pulling up, sometimes 3 or 4 in a single day. Some drivers even got lazy and started leaving them without ringing the bell. Our porch started looking like a damn warehouse. Still, we tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was setting up her house. Maybe she was buying early Christmas gifts. Katie kept saying, "Poor woman's trying to get her life together." But it got worse. Some days the boxes would sit for hours. Brianna wouldn't show up until after dark. She'd just waltz up, sometimes with her kids, grab everything, barely even say hi anymore. Around the same time, weird things started happening. I got a notification from our credit card company about a charge I didn't recognize, $319 at a store we never shopped at. I thought it was fraud. Reported it. Got a new card sent out. Didn't think much of it, until 2 days later another charge hit. $156 from another random store. Then $84. Then $600. In 2 weeks, it was over $6,300. Katie and I sat at the kitchen table one night, bills and bank statements spread everywhere. I felt sick to my stomach. My hands were shaking. We went over every charge. None of it was stuff we bought. None of it even made sense. Kids' furniture, women's shoes, electronics, beauty products. We called the credit card company. They told us the shipping address on the purchases. It was our home address. My head spun. I kept thinking, how? Why? The next morning, FedEx dropped off another big box. Katie brought it inside without thinking. It was heavy. She opened it. Inside was a pile of expensive kids' toys, a fancy-looking stroller, and a pair of women's sneakers, Katie's size. Katie stood there holding the shoes, her face completely blank. She didn't say a word. She just put the box down and walked away. I knew I had to confront Brianna, but I didn't want to go over there angry. I didn't want to do something stupid. So I cooled down, and then walked next door. She answered after a few knocks. She looked tired, annoyed even. I told her about the charges. Told her they were linked to my card and sent to our house. I said it calmly, giving her every chance to explain. Brianna gasped. She looked completely shocked. Hand over her mouth. Tears welling up. "Oh my God! No! No way!" she said. "Maybe the store made a mistake. Maybe it's my billing address somehow. Maybe they mixed up the labels." She talked a mile a minute. I almost started doubting myself. But something in her eyes wasn't right. There wasn't fear, there was calculation. I told her we were filing a police report. She nodded fast, too fast. "Of course. Of course. Do whatever you need to." I walked back home, feeling sick. That night, while Katie was showering, I sat on the couch scrolling through Facebook, trying to clear my head. That's when I saw it. Brianna had posted a new picture. She was sitting cross-legged on her couch, smiling wide. Wearing a pair of bright blue Nike sneakers. The exact ones Katie had been missing for over a week. The caption underneath her photo made my blood run cold. "Manifesting a life you didn't have to work for." There was no mistake. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't a billing mix-up. She was stealing from us. She was laughing about it. She thought she was smarter than us. I showed Katie. She stared at the screen for a long time, silent. Then she whispered, "She thinks she's won." I didn't sleep that night. I just laid there, staring at the ceiling, planning. I wasn't going to let her get away with it. The next morning, I called the police. I told them everything. About the charges. About the packages. About the Facebook post. About the stolen shoes. The officer on the line sounded sympathetic but careful. "Do you have proof?" he asked. "That she used your credit card?" I told him no. I didn't have a video of her typing the numbers in. All I had was the stolen goods showing up at my house, and her parading around in Katie's shoes. He said they could take a report, but it might be a civil matter, unless we had solid proof she used our card directly. Otherwise, it was just suspicious. Suspicious wasn't good enough. I hung up, feeling like I was about to snap. Katie sat across from me, arms crossed tight over her chest. "She's getting away with it," she said in a dead voice. I couldn't accept that. So I set a trap. I ordered a brand new security camera set off Amazon, under a fake name. Had it delivered to my work address. I spent the whole evening installing them, making sure they were hidden. One under the porch roof, one facing the walkway, one by the driveway. And then we waited. 2 days later, another package showed up, addressed to me this time, but something I never ordered. It was a brand new PlayStation 5. Expensive. Heavy. Katie and I left it sitting there on the porch. An hour later, Brianna strolled over. She looked around like she was checking for cars. Picked up the box. Tucked it under her arm like it was hers. And walked off without knocking. I caught it all on video. I made 3 copies. One for the police. One for the credit card fraud department. One for me. That night, I filed an official police report in person, handed over the footage, and filed fraud paperwork with the bank. Finally, the police took it seriously. They said they'd open an investigation, but warned me it could take weeks. Maybe months. They had to get warrants. Talk to judges. Build a case. Meanwhile, Katie and I were still out $6,300. Still drowning in charges. Still watching Brianna live her stolen life right next door like nothing happened. And then she went too far. About a week after filing the report, we came home from work and found our front door wide open. Inside, drawers were yanked out. Closets emptied. Our laptop was missing. Jewelry gone. Katie's grandmother's wedding ring, gone. My knees buckled when I saw the mess. Katie sat down on the floor and just sobbed. The police came again. This time, they were serious. This time, it wasn't just fraud. It was breaking and entering. But there were no signs of forced entry. No broken locks. Nothing. Whoever did it had a key. Our spare key. The one we kept in a fake rock by the front steps, in case we ever locked ourselves out. We hadn't told anyone about that key. Except maybe, in passing, Brianna, when she asked if we ever locked ourselves out. I felt a rage I couldn't even explain. This wasn't just stealing. This was war. The cops dusted for fingerprints, but they didn't seem too hopeful. They asked if anyone else knew about the key. We said no. Brianna kept to herself after that. She didn't come over anymore. No more fake smiles. No more coffee gifts. Just quick glances from her front window, watching us like we were the enemy. A few days later, Katie went on Facebook again. She almost threw her phone across the room. Brianna had posted a photo album titled, "Starting My Dream Life Sparkling Heart." It was full of pictures of furniture, jewelry, electronics, our stuff. There was Katie's missing necklace. There was our TV in the background. There was a silver laptop, ours, sitting on her coffee table. She didn't even try to hide it. She was showing off. That night, I made a second police report. Handed over the screenshots. Told them she had our stolen property inside her house. The officer looked tired, frustrated, but nodded. "We'll get a warrant." It would take time, he said. Maybe a week. Maybe 2. I couldn't wait that long. Meanwhile, we started getting weird mail. Letters from credit card companies we didn't use. Bills we didn't recognize. Someone had opened 3 new credit cards in my name. Charges already piling up. Thousands more dollars. More debt. Katie looked at me one night and said, dead serious, "She's trying to ruin us." It felt like we were living in a nightmare. And nobody was stopping her. One morning, I woke up to find our car keyed. Deep, jagged scratches down both sides. Later that afternoon, someone egged our front door. We had no proof it was Brianna. But who else would do it? I knew one thing: if we just sat back, she would destroy us completely. So I made a decision. I found an old friend from high school, Jason, who now worked as a licensed private investigator. I explained everything. Showed him the videos, the Facebook posts, the police reports, the bills. He agreed to help. We set up surveillance. Real surveillance. Not just porch cameras, but long lens photos. Logs of everyone who went in and out of her house. We even found out her real background. Turns out, Brianna wasn't even her real name. Her birth name was Bridget and Wyatt. She had changed it after she got busted for credit card fraud in Indiana 5 years ago. Got off easy with probation because she claimed she was turning her life around for her kids. She wasn't turning anything around. She was running a scam. Jason found more. Old landlords she stiffed. Former friends she conned. Even family members she stole from. This wasn't some neighbor being messy. This was a professional. And we were her newest targets. But not for long. Jason helped us pull together a full file: photos, background records, old news clippings about her fraud cases, and proof she was using our stolen items. We didn't just hand it to the cops. We sent it straight to her landlord, too. Turns out, Brianna, or Bridget, whatever her real name was, had lied on her rental application, too. She listed fake jobs, fake references. She even claimed she had no criminal record. The landlord was furious. Said if we could prove even half of it, he'd evict her. Meanwhile, the police finally got their warrant. It all happened fast after that. One afternoon, 2 cruisers pulled up. Cops knocked loud enough for the whole street to hear. Brianna tried to stall at the door. Tried to cry. Didn't work. They went inside. Katie and I stood on our porch watching, not saying a word. When they came out, they carried our laptop, Katie's jewelry, even our TV. All bagged up for evidence. They also found piles of unopened credit card mail. Cards with our names. Cards with fake names. It was over. They arrested her right there in the yard, in front of her kids, in front of the whole neighborhood. Handcuffs. Miranda writes. Her kids cried. Neighbors stared. Brianna didn't cry though. She just looked furious. Like somehow we had betrayed her. Later, we learned she was charged with identity theft, grand larceny, breaking and entering, and a few other things I couldn't even keep track of. She's still fighting it in court, last I heard. Her landlord kicked her out that same week. She left half her junk behind. We watched from our window as movers tossed it into a dumpster. Her dream life? Gone. But here's where I'll admit my mistake. I shouldn't have ever let her use our porch. I shouldn't have trusted someone I didn't really know. I thought being a good neighbor meant giving people the benefit of the doubt. I learned it the hard way. Some people will take everything you have if you let them. Katie and I are still repairing the damage. Still fixing our credit. Still trying to feel safe again in our own home. We changed the locks. Got better cameras. Pulled the fake rock. No more keys hidden outside. And no more favors for friendly, new neighbors. If they want to live here, they can work for it, just like we did. No more handouts. No more free rides. Not here. Not ever again.